Welcome to another round of 16 cast for Spy Party Summer Cup 2023. And today we have two I would say really banger matches today. But if you would said that these were the round of 16 matches and let's just say they were semi-final matches, I don't think anyone would bat an eye. But it's not gonna be me who's gonna be dissecting them. It's gonna be Catnip and Slappy Davis. Take it away, fellas.
Good evening or morning or afternoon or whatever time zone you're in, everyone. And hello, Slappy.
Oh, hello. Super excited for this. And yeah, absolutely agree that these could have easily been semifinals. Honestly, a couple of them could have been finals. And also players that have played each other many, many times in these kinds of situations. So very excited.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be exciting for, in terms of a bigger picture, in terms of the whole tournament, to maybe potentially, more likely to have a winner that's not from these four, because these are, just like Wrestler and just like you said, these are very notorious for their level of skill, and it's gonna be sad to lose two of them, but also great to see someone else step in and see how that pans out. And the matches themselves, I'm sure, are gonna be spicy as heck.
And I'm hopeful that they'll join whoever falls out of this. I don't know how often some of these players would jump into the auxiliary tournament, but I believe that's still going strong. I think it's Ori Megalodon Motel for this
Yes,
one.
Megalodon Motel. We're currently in week 3, and I'm there as well. Not doing that well, but that's nothing new. So,
Well, you'll have some like if they do join you. Unfortunately, you'll also have some stiff competition. So I don't know if you'll be rooting for someone to lose just because that's the person you'd rather play.
uh, that, no, I'm not really one to focus on that. But yeah, talking about their way so far in this match. So we're gonna be starting today with Rob versus Pofke, and Rob came to a round of 16 to um from Group G, where he got first, and Pofke was actually only second in his own Group B, losing the first spot to Max Edward Snacks. Um, so that's been their path here so far. Rav, I believe, had all 3 wins. Yes, all 3 wins, and Pofke had 2 wins and 1 loss, while Max had all 3 wins as well. So and tonight the format is gonna be a little bit different than we saw in groups. So, and also players are not obliged to play the whole 12 games, so they can just stop at reaching the 7 points for one of them. We do have an overtime scenario as well. We'll get to that if we need to. Um, so overall, we're gonna be playing. Or Slappy, do you want to run the audience through those?
Through who we're playing today?
The maps, I mean, the
Oh, the
format.
maps. I don't think I have the maps in front of me. So if you have them, you can go for it.
Then I will politely keep rambling on. So we have library, a ballroom, gallery, redwoods, terrace, and modern. Um, Way less likable maps by me in Megalodon Motel, because in week 3 we had to play this set as well. But yeah, they're definitely a bit more competitive, and the skills are gonna shine even more, I think. So it's good for the audience and for the game for that reason.
Yeah, and for the first matchup, I'm not sure who to feel worse for because Pofke obviously drawing a rough round of 16 match versus Rov, but also Rov winning their group and getting to play someone who got second, drawing Pofke immediately. And actually, that's going to hold true for the other round of 16 match as well, where it doesn't feel like round of 16, and honestly, just how brackets go. So very excited.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I don't know, wrestler, is there anything else for us to cover, or we should just jump in the first match?
If you want to talk about the players per se, like their tendencies, feel free to go ahead. But other than that, I think we're both ready to start.
Oh, absolutely. So that's a great point. So, I mean, obviously, if you have been watching Spy Party competitive over the last like 4 or 5 years, you're probably very familiar with Pofke, they've been in and out of the top slots for a very long time. Rav came more into their stride. I would like to say over like the last like 2 or 3 years. They've been around and they were really solid for a long time, and then they just started breaking away from the pack. Maybe like 2 years ago. Sometimes when I think of SpyParty, it's hard to remember what year I'm really thinking of. But that's really where they've come in and started to be extremely strong. So both of them have won tournaments. Um, I think I don't think Pofke's ever won Summer Cup, but I think Pofke's won another cup. So I believe both have come away with tournament wins. Rob has often been coming into recent tournaments as favorite, but honestly hasn't closed out one for a little bit. So curious to see if he's able to start that run off strong versus a really tough opponent.
To
Yeah,
answer
and
the
I think
question, excuse me, sorry. To answer the question, Pofke indeed is a Winter Cup 2020 winner here. So some trivia for you.
Ooh, okay. I was just about to say that Pofke is probably slightly the underdog here because, from what I hear and what I see in Discord, he's not as actively playing casually, and I have to admit that players who are regularly playing casual games tend to have an upper edge. Because Rust is a thing and all those kind of things. I myself gonna be biasly rooting for Pofke because fellow Lithuanians have to. But yeah, other than that, excited what this match is gonna bring.
Absolutely. And they both do have some tendencies that I know that we're going to see in the game. So I'll hold off on that one. But yeah, just know that again, like we started from the beginning on, these are some very top quality matches. And yeah, with that, I think we're probably ready.
I believe so as well. I have the first game loaded in. We're starting on Library, with Rob as Papa Danger. Wrestler, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, or Slappy, of course, as well. But I believe I sorted them right in the date and what have you.
Indeed, that's what I have as well.
Okay, and I suppose that we can start in three, two, one, playing it.
And obviously, so starting off with the library is always very interesting in that library is a map with a very high snipers win rate. And then there's also a lot of gambits on library, so it's often very stressful. So uh, coming away with this with two sniper wins is the expected result. But if they don't, and if there's a break this early, it can be a huge deal. And Rav, very intentionally, I think, oh well, interesting that we are sticking around in this conversation circle through several idle animations. I think Papa Danger is like the only one that can really do that. There's like something weird about
Yes,
red watch text.
So Papa Danger has two idle animations to stay in a conversation circle if there's nothing else happening before leaving.
Yeah, and it's like one of the only ones. It's this weird thing where I actually like it. It's kind of almost like the eventual plan for dossiers, for there to be these
Yes.
random things that some characters do, and it's just I think it's more like they're just like a weird thing, maybe even a bug. But this is the kind of thing I would expect from dossiers in the future. We get a white flirt with Smallman. And we did need that time ad because we are actually a little bit behind. We are not any worse for wear for the red time ad, though, it appears.
Yeah, I don't think we're under any suspicion. The sniper, Pofke is looking here just because we have both Ambassador and Toby with drink tray. Uh, we're not really doing anything worth of suspicion either, though, so that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, and this is actually something that is true about Rav. Sometimes Rav, and this is absolutely the pot calling the kettle black. Rav is a little slow sometimes. Pofke, I'm very curious to see how they approach Library in the next game because Pofke comes in with scripts a lot of the time where they have very specific plans that they're gonna execute kind of no matter what. So curious if they have something in mind. I would expect that Rob has come into this with the vague plan of adding time early, slow playing, and just getting like some flirts in here, and trying to do a lot of stuff late where we're not one of the early highlights. We do get a fingerprint off this drink, It is a difficult, so it doesn't look like we're picking up any highlights here. So we're not any of the main highlights that Pofke is getting a lot of tracking on. So maybe Rob's plan is maybe Pofke really dials in on their highlights in the first half and then kind of follows them exclusively in the second half and the last minute and a half or so,
Banana
where we
bread.
might be able to get away with something. Banana bread comes off. It seems okay.
Yeah, I think maybe like 15 seconds ago we had a better opportunity for that, like three or so more people in conversation circles, but not a bad one, especially because we didn't need to chase our double agent, so nothing's looking too suspicious. We do have 2/3 of the floor. There's that one print. So we need three total cumulatively missions to do in 2 minutes, which is slightly worrisome but still doable.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we're going to get this. So we've been chasing our seduction target around, but I also think because we've been playing a little slow, I don't think we're gonna get caught for this. Okay, are we gonna try for something here? Like it's very good that we didn't try to go for that reverse bug, even though it's very tempting, and Ambassador walked directly through conversation because Pofke was definitely guarding that, especially because we're gonna be Papa Danger. Um, ooh, if we can get Ambassador to bounce out of here, we can get this briefcase return. I think we're gonna stick around for a while and really hope. No,
Oh,
we are actually not.
we might get
Ambassador.
a
So
second difficult one though.
yeah, we might.
What? Oh
We
boy,
hit
two
it.
green fingerprints. Oh,
This
you
is
loved.
yeah, absolutely. This is I mean, what except for flirts. Like we've hit all the other greens. We've hit green banana breads, green fingerprints. Oh, we do try to go for this bug. We do not get it, and it looks like there's maybe a little suspicion thrown our way. A little bit of a fishing there. It's not super obvious and that bad. Oh, but we have this redirect. I can't really tell how Pofke feels about danger right now. It seems like we're being followed though.
A little bit, yeah. So
Oh,
we
let's see if
might
we.
have. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm just curious if we're out of time. I don't think we are though.
I mean, we have 40 seconds left and two missions, which is now quite troublesome. Oh, three at bookcase. We're gonna go for microfilm, and we still need something else, though.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be trying to go for a microfilm with a bug on the way through. Ambassador is gonna get pushed out. Oh, no, actually, no. We're not gonna get pushed out. We're just gonna go.
Oh,
Oh no! Oh god.
oh
Okay,
no,
this
no,
is
no.
awkward, but we have to just drive for it. Unless we had, unless we had time. I
But
think we're gonna add time.
we're gonna be seen adding time here, though.
Oh no,
Oh,
we're just
oh.
gonna. It's not the worst. It's not the worst idea in the world. Like I think that so obviously Pofke had to have a good feeling about there not being a swap going off. So in the last seconds of the game, library is super stressful, of course, right? So even though library is sniper sighted, right at the end there's just desperate spies, and so you have to be watching swap. You have to be watching Purloin. Unfortunately, Toby was near us, so we weren't being our attention wasn't getting pulled apart in that way. But what we really needed there was somebody at statues that pulled our attention away just enough. So kind of a well-timed little end right there because what we're trying to do is like make it look like we were so not finishing missions that maybe right at the end they just check swap and we get it done right there. But no luck. And yeah, just doesn't work out. But it also is library.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, it's visible that Rob was getting desperate there at the end, but I can't blame him for doing what he did. Like, in that moment, you just need to go for it, but well caught by Pofke, and yeah, I think we did have suspicion from that failed bug from before. Like you said, Pofke's laser seemed to be following Rob around just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, not super surprising there, but a little bit dramatic there at the end. And now we have Pofke stepping in as spy.
Yes, as Rocker, uh, if you're ready,
Absolutely.
in three, two, one, playing.
And I definitely think what we wanted that game was a cleaner bug pass because we had Papa Danger without the snapbacks. But Ambassador was moving in a way that was nice for us to get those fingerprints, but not really great for us to get that bug. And I think we very intentionally just never wanted to touch statues at all that game, even once. So we got those fingerprints off of Drink and off of Book, so that we would never be at statues, and we were hoping that we would get
That
away with never having that visit.
speaking of fingerprints, we did miss a briefcase opportunity here that we wanted to, but one of the twins snatched it instead. So we just go to a book to occupy ourselves in that time.
Yeah, and we'll see if we leave. Okay, where I was gonna say if we wanted to go after that briefcase, we could stop reading the book, go for it, and try to grab it. But it might be at this point just a blank briefcase. We'll see if we do anything with this book here. We were definitely seen with it. I think it'll be easy to remember where it came from. I think we're just gonna put this back as an excuse for talking with Papa Danger. Um, and let's see what the rest of the party's been doing. Who's been picking up? So it looks like General already had a highlight before stepping in there. I don't know if that was for inspects. So General is going to be watched. It's actually a little unfortunate that this isn't closer to the end of the game because General visiting statues and finishing inspects near the end of the game draws so much attention for the spy to be able to manipulate it. So maybe we're going to pay attention to see if General goes back again later because that'll provide an opportunity. But for the time being, looks like we're just here in timer flirting.
Yeah, and we do have 66% on that. I think us staying here for a bit might also be a partial strategy to, not be remembered for having a yellow book and thus slam it in blue on our way out.
Absolutely. That's to, oh, we do hit the we're just spaced properly enough to get that last flirt, so that's good. The problem we might run into with keeping this book is the other person that was with us at that bookcase was Smallman, and so there's just extra scrutiny attached to them. So even just because we might remember that we were next to Smallman later, also Smallman is gonna do a full read cycle before picking up this briefcase. Interesting. I didn't know that that was. I mean, it's obviously AI like because they did it. But anyways, back to the actual spy. We're returning. Oh no,
Oh
we're
no,
not.
we faked returning a book and then get holy cow.
Very nice. So, to explain why we were doing that is we wanted to be seen going back to the bookcase and for us to be mentally written off. Okay, so let's see if we got away with this part because that right there was the key moment is the fact that we were at a bookcase and we never picked up a book. So what we wanted was Rav to see that Rocker went to yellow bookcase and for him to complete that circle in his head saying, okay, there's no book. We stealth highlight. Okay, I think
We get a
we're
highlight for the. I'm loving it so much, but we still get a highlight for it, and that's
yeah.
sad. But
It is sad, especially also because it's funny because Smallman might look kind of like they did something similar because Smallman also went um, green, a yellow bookcase and green bookcase. Actually, it could be the case that maybe the book I saw earlier was actually a green book. So unfortunately for us, the fact that that was a highlight that went across like very quickly, very intentionally hidden does mean that we are almost certainly caught for the microfilm, and the fact that we're not close to being done means that this banana bread,
Banana bread.
even though it's not even
oh
be, oh
gosh,
god, okay, that's terrible.
because yeah, I think we're. Oh no, we're not. Okay, I was about to say that I thought we were sort of masked by the pillar and sort of by the cowboy's hat, but and because especially at first it seemed that Rob was just taking maybe a couple highlights or something like that, but then he just decides to shoot and punish Pofke. Oh gosh, this is entertaining.
Yeah, that was so that was cool. I'm curious. I'm gonna look back to the replay and see if I feel like did we catch Rocker? Did we catch Rocker on the takeaway? Or okay, so I want to see. So green, like 140-ish or so. That was a good catch. Like, it didn't really look like we were watching exactly when Rocker went up. Although actually, I guess if I go full screen, I guess Rocker was just barely on screen. Um, oh yeah, no, I guess we could be seen approaching it, but just good on Pofke, or sorry, good on Rav for being aware of that kind of gambit. So even though we missed the book rip, or not book rip, but the non-return, which is the big moment, we contextually knew about the threat enough to be ready for it. So good sniping on both sides so far.
Yeah, I'm just see, this is the kind of like high level shenanigans that you get with these players, and this is the kind of things I can only dream of pulling off.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the catch. Like I like it's just like I'm the kind of player that like I write things off. Like I would have played into Pofke's hand of writing off
Right.
the yellow book and then just like not even caring about the fact that Rocker like was walking back up to a bookcase, especially since Rocker hadn't done anything suspicious. So
Right. And also from Rob's point of view, that you see that and you think, oh yeah, that's actually something that very realistically could be happening here right now. And therefore I need to pay attention to that character going forward is oh gosh.
right, while we're also guarding statues, while we're guarding Purloin,
Yeah.
and actually also to note, neither player has touched a statue yet. I'm assuming that's about to change in this one. Library kind of
Mm.
has this meta around either you go all in on statues or not at all.
No, Rocker did one with visit.
Oh, did Rocker do one? Okay, my apologies.
Yeah,
Then
soon
we
after
started.
getting a highlight. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. Rocker did it near the end. Right, I forgot because Rocker was already dead. Rocker did include statues and everything. But all right, so moving away from library, and we'll be in a spot where the spies are gonna have a little bit more chance. Ballroom still sniper favored, but not nearly as much. So I'm sure that we'll see a little bit more out of them from here.
Yep, and we have Rob as sorry, we have Rob as Duke. Consonants are tough. Um, and we're in ballroom, and in 3, 2, 1, playing.
And Rob is actually seems to be kind of open, a little bit of a clip, but probably not going to be a problem. Rob seems to like Duke. I just feel like Rob picks Duke a lot, and I think Rob likes Duke for their bug, and ooh, I think there's another one too. I think it's their uh, 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 book animation. I forget what Rob likes about Duke, except for that. Chat can probably tell me. But I am assuming that we're going to try to go for a reverse drive-by bug because of the arm snapback being less visible.
It does look like we're watching for those kind of opportunities. If you take a look from Rob's cam, um, what's bad for opportunities is our ST, who we can't catch this whole time, and we wasted at least 30 seconds on it.
Yeah, it seems like we're kind of. Oh, actually, well, I was going to take that back. It seems like we've been avoiding conversations, and we actually have. Oh my God, what is this for? What is this for? I mean, I feel like we're dead because we've been highlight for like nothing. Um, but I will okay. We'll have to watch the replay for that because that feels like a very un-Pofke like highlight because it feels like it would have been behaviorable. But maybe we messed up on the timing of something. So very curious about that. Terrible sign for Rov. And actually, I'm curious if Pofke is going to fake a highlight here because Rov should be expecting to get a highlight but isn't.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Pofka's doing that. He's watching Amber for that bug.
Yeah, agreed that he's definitely been perching near Ambassador, hoping for a bug opportunity. And I'm wondering if it could be something like that. We are going to get the two flirt, which normally would be very. This would be if. Oh, and we're going to get this fingerprint. So we are going to go for double fingerprint completion here. And so we're going to have fingerprint done. We're going to have seduce done. We're going to have inspect done. And normally, if it wasn't for that early highlight, this would be looking very possible. Obviously, we could get caught near the end because of doing a very apparent. We actually missed a pad here, but it's not going to matter.
It's okay,
Very
we can
apparent
still take a
fingerprint.
drink.
Yeah, we'll just sip our drink, play it cool. So it's interesting now. So at least for Rov, I was worried for Rob that we were going to pick up that highlight for basically for very little actual mission completion. And so Rob might have been playing the
Banana
rest of the
bread.
game like they weren't highlight. Banana bread comes off. If Spofsky is super suspicious and worried about something like an extra bug or something that we could see a shot but doesn't look like it. So, I mean, I would assume we're going to go into statues and get shot. But, I mean,
Yeah.
if Tofke's doubting themselves, who knows?
It's weird that OJ got a highlight. I'm pretty sure she was out for the banana bread. I mean, a highlight was for the statue visit, but still. We're about to win. Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like we must get... Because we were already highlight, and we just went print to print immediately.
Yeah, and so I'm still curious about this. So like, okay, so one of the things I was wondering about is if we had bug credit. But if we had bug credit, we wouldn't have waited on that last shot. We would have been shot at the banana bread because we did the very obvious double print. Um, yeah, I don't have any insight on why. Like we took some interesting paths, maybe, but there's nothing near it. I guess there's this like redirect that we intentionally tried to pretend that we are going to the statue that, or sorry, we're going to the briefcase and we do this redirect.
I wonder if the highlight was simply for the flirt pair. I mean, well, it happened right before. It happened as Duke was walking, though. So it's... I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't...
know. Yeah, I'm just looking at it over again. Very interesting. And the thing that's funny is like we actually waited. It could have like honestly, was it even just an accident? Because like we waited till Duke came to us to highlight it, which is just weird. So it could be a pair, and like Pofke was so on top of like the fact that Duke had been avoiding conversations that we'd even put our laser off to the right. But interesting highlight. Well done by Pofke. Waited out the exact amount of time that they needed, where they didn't actually have to shoot until like 6 seconds into the inspect being done. So they gave themselves maximal space. They had control of that game. I just don't know how they got control.
Well, we'll see how Pofka takes control as queen here, being squeezed between Boots and Toby as wrestler is showcasing on the stream in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And we are going straight into statues, but not middle statues. And actually, we might not. Actually, we're gonna have a sip. We probably. Oh, we're gonna go straight for a
Oh,
white swap. All right. Well, very intentionally planned. Let's see. So it looked like Rob was rotating around there. Um, I'm very curious to see what the highlights come off. I would say if everybody gets highlight here, this is a good sign. Okay, that's a great sign. The fact that Twin got
oh,
highlight is very good for us.
and we're just gonna finish statues out of nowhere. Boom, 2 missions in 35 seconds or so.
All right, so here's a question for you. Let's say you are Pofke. Do you rush at this point, or do you actually just go on very slow flirts? Like, do you try to get like flirt, flirt, flirt done, and try to finish in like with like 2 minutes left, or do you now be like, all right, now that I've had like a hot start, play it cool?
In theory, play it cool. Realistically, I probably would rush because I like doing things. So, but in theory, right, like analyzing it from a good mental place and not being actually in the game and doing stupid things as I do. Yeah, I think you just play it cool, hang around in convos, flirt a little bit here and there, and banana bread towards the end.
Yeah, and unfortunately, seduction target. So it's funny because it's luckily we have all this time, and actually, Pofke very wisely is going to start setting up for the banana bread. Almost. Oh, are we going to get rewarded? Not quite. Pofke is like, well, I have to banana bread at some point. They actually might ditch this. Yeah, they actually are, and I get it. You're going to have banana bread opportunities later.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's just it's oh it's becoming a tragedy on the floor.
It's true, and the thing is, like, this is one of the things that could mess us up because so we are basically okay with Rav seeing us go after seduction pretty hard, unless it makes Rav feel like we are trying to get past with like that last mission credit. Because basically, with the advantage of finishing with a lot of time left on the clock is that we could make Rav think that okay, we're still waiting to do one last thing right here. Banana bread's about to come off. This is gonna be okay.
Banana bread.
The only thing is we're the only ones with real though, is us and Seek. So and I don't think Pofke is going to throw off another banana bread. So a lot of people in conversation, but we're the only ones with credit. So Rob could definitely sniff this out because if we are if nobody else is doing anything and there's just us and Seek and Seek doesn't do anything, we'll be like, why is Queen just letting this game time out and no one else is trying to finish?
I think it's also it might be just we're oh,
Oh, that's
never
enough.
mind.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, we gave Pofke credit for all the greens and whatnot. So, I don't know. What do you think? Do we think that maybe we had some swap suspicion, or is there just too much chasing at the end there?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was swap suspicion, and that's partly it just sort of we didn't have time to get into it. That's partly why when you asked me, I said I would have played it cool because Rob was seeking to see what that statue was right in the beginning, like you mentioned. He sort of rolled around, so he was looking at it, and if he didn't see it, if if the swap was seen, Queen would have been shot at Banana Bread. As simple as that. But because we weren't sure, then we waited for more talks, and now probably paired up with Seek for flirt. So, but yeah, the swap was definitely suspected, or at the very least, if I'm counting missions for Queen, I have to count swap.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think if we had gotten like more fortunate with the with seduction target, or honestly even the banana bread, but like I think there's like not any other options, and so sometimes in games of Spy Party we're like watching something like, all right, well shit, I didn't see their statues, so I just have to keep them in the back of my mind. And then like everybody else in the party is not trying to finish. You're like, actually now that person's the most suspicious because they're like the only person that could get be done. So good on Rav, and like both players have been trying to do like kind of gambity plays. Neither one has. I guess Rav's ballroom game was a little bit like that. Although even though there's the various sense, the very obvious fingerprint. So both of them have been trying like going all in on a specific thing, and it hasn't worked yet. They've been able to catch each other. So not a surprise so far. We come out of it 2 sniper wins each, but gallery is definitely an opportunity for them to shake things up.
Well, it's so weird because usually I would consider library and maybe even ballroom to an extent a spy favored map. And I don't know what I feel about gallery.
It's gambity. Based on what they've done so far, like I like that they've been aggressive so far, and I think the aggressions can get more rewarded on gallery. So, but they're also gonna be aware of it. So they're both very good at sniping gallery. So wouldn't be surprised to see if we still see sniper party all the way through this. But I think it's one of the opportunities they're definitely gonna have.
Yeah. And we'll see if Rob's gonna rug the spy play in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Yes, pun intended this time.
All right. Well, we are setting up here, so we are not going for one of the really obviously great no snapback bug spies. So that's like one decision that we can kind of see in here. There's a few spies, although actually now that I see that her snapback's pretty good. It's just not at the level of say Papa Danger, Alice, Twins, that sort of a thing. So we're not necessarily going to be trying to go for a painting reverse drive-by bug, which I think is fair. I think Pofke's very good at catching those kinds of bugs. Pofke's actually one of the best snipers at catching bugs, period. Just focuses a lot on bug, really good at catching bug, really good at catching opportunities for bugs. So would not blame Rav for avoiding trying to go for a bug here, even on a map that obviously centers around bugs so often.
I was actually once again gonna say that it's probably not that complicated in comparison to catch a bug on gallery. I feel it's one of the riskier maps depending on where you're positioned. But I'm definitely not at the level of Brav and Pofke and you, so then there's that perspective. We haven't done much. 37% of flirt.
Yeah,
And
I think well so here's an opportunity like so this is where bug comes into play right now is like we have ambassador there's like these moments almost like a shark walk we're opting not to take it partially because that conversation's full where we could have like see how ambassador's walking around the outside of that conversation circle we're stepping into statues here and it doesn't well actually no we will sip so that we will be able to pick it up right after queen there'll be
and
like known times in which there'll be bug opportunities ahead of time.
and we sip so that we can flirt with Queen while we're doing that.
Oh, great point. Didn't even notice that we picked up the flirt. We had enough time. Oh, that's what's great about that is we had that drink, I guess from the beginning that we kind of just nurtured there. I actually don't remember if we took that drink or if we started with it,
I
but it's because we had that drink that we were able to flirt and wait for them to pick up that statue.
I think we took it at a conversation. I'm not fully sure, but I think we did. I remember Toby offered us for.
All right,
So
green purloin. Are we going to? Okay, I think we're going to see if there's this reject here. This is interesting because it's going to go to our seduction target who also has partial inspects. All right, it is going to be the first person that takes. It's going to be very clear. I think that I will go for this bug, and unfortunately, we do not get it.
oh,
And Queen's going to get shot. We actually don't see the fade. That is a huge break for Rob. That is actually very uncharacteristic for to me. Let's see. Did Queen have inspects finished? Because I will understand that shot a lot. They did. They did have inspects finished. Okay, I get that a little bit more now. I thought that that was just a shot that was way too early. Now, of course, I think that we had an opportunity to see the list disappear if we were looking closely. I'm a little bit surprised that Pofke didn't catch this because to me it's actually one of the easier greens to catch. But we don't catch it, and we shoot a someone who's been around us enough to flirt, so they could have flirted with us, and inspected and purloined and had bug opportunities. So that all came down to just missing that fade.
or maybe I think it could have been that Pofke missed Toby offering to us or Rocker rejecting before. Because Sieg had a drink, so we didn't see Sieg take it, but sequentially, you would go Sieg Queen rather than just Rocker. So maybe there was that too. It
It
might
looked
have
like
been
a
just the
request.
animation, but
Mm-hmm. But regardless, that is a huge moment for Rov because you never ever want to give a sniper like Rov the ability to just snipe out the win the rest of the way. So Pofke definitely a hot seat now.
yeah, and I think with these two players, I would not have been surprised to see just like Sniper Party all the way. Because, like you mentioned, they're very good at catching things. They're very good with noticing, even like we saw, high level shenanigans. So getting a spy win is just this extra, extra, extra great point to have. Like morally, it's like 2.5 almost instead of just.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're like momentum wise, yeah. Because like now, uh, two great snipers facing off each other, momentum wise, yeah, it feels awful. Now, to me and you, who are like way below these players, like if we lose a spy game, I'm often like, well, okay, or sorry, if I lose a sniper game, I'm like, well, man, I could still come back unless I'm playing one of these top players because like there's less of that discrepancy. So we'll see if Pop is able to pull it back though.
Yeah, and he's gonna be doing that as Papa Danger in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And so it's also interesting there is that also demonstrates to me the level of uh, uh, concentration that these players are dumping into their sniper play. So for the same because like that to me some of like the fade missing stuff that's not super easy. It's definitely tricky to see a fade, especially a late fade like that. And Toby was in motion when the fade actually was going, but it is something that if Pofke was paying full attention to it, I feel like they would have caught. But these players are so on guard for random stuff coming up from their opponents that they're trying to cheat a little bit on some of the core basics, where they're looking a little bit less at some of the more obvious like camping tells, trying to see if they could get an edge by noticing a redirect, noticing somebody trying to set up for a fingerprint, noticing someone setting up for a bug, but that sometimes you'll have a crack in the armor and something like that will happen.
Yeah, and I do feel that overall Pofke is a bit less of a straight up technical camper. He's more in the. I don't know if he's a behavioralist as such, but he's looking for other stuff
Oh,
rather than
absolutely,
just sort
yeah.
of the basics. So I guess that's why the trade-off can happen as well, similarly to what you mentioned.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. Where he's a bit of a, I mean, like everybody, a little bit of a hybrid, but also in the sense of has a solid intuition for opportunities of just like spies that are going for something. So he's kind of like a behavioralist that doesn't take as many lowlights. That's something about Pofke that's different than a lot of behavioralists. Is Pofke to me seems like a player who really focuses on people that are presenting themselves as threats and able to keep them in their mind. He has an excellent memory, and then is dividing up his attention among the people that seem to be aiming to finish. Where behavioralists that try to take lots of lowlights, they work through that process via the lighting system, and Pofke just kind of highlights and doesn't really take lowlights as much.
Fair. Um, we also didn't. Speaking of not taking things, we did not take a print from the briefcase. It probably was not printable as such, but it does feel sad because it does mean we wasted a little bit more of the time that we're actually running out of. Why are we lowlighting? Did
I
we ghost
We
him?
had a green time ad, so maybe it's for
Oh,
that we caught late. Um, we Pofke noticed that Rob was focused in on the statues and Toby in the background. Added time real quick and jumped over, and I think it was a green time ad. So could be a delayed time ad on that, and just low lying people at
Banana
statues or
bread.
nearby that couldn't have. And here comes some more. And actually, that's see that banana bread's not that bad, except for the people that happen to be out of conversation. Um, that's rough. Only one highlight left is really too bad. And we pick up a highlight. We did attempt a bug and they didn't take it. I'm wondering if it's for that.
might because the timing of it is more about that potential bug path, as it were, rather than leaving after banana bread. Oh, leaving this convo this so quickly does not look well for us with that highlight on, does it?
Yeah, and Rob is going to catch this purloin. I was hoping that Queen would take it and that Queen could give us back this win, but no such luck. Rob on top of the green purloin, and I'm curious if Queen had taken and we couldn't see the fade, if Queen could have gotten shot, but I actually doubt it because if I look back at that banana bread, banana bread happened right here. When the banana bread happened, only the front conversation circle had credit. And again, like even just the lowlights, we just eliminated so many highlights during that moment, and there was like pretty much just us left over. So, um, uh, bummer, and really going to be a problem because this is going to be one of the last few chances that Pop get to win a spy game.
Yeah, and especially if you think of it, Rob won twice in a row due to a green purloin, or at least upon a
Yes.
green
Hmm.
purloin.
You're totally right. Yes. So Rav won by catching and being on top of the purloin, and by getting to eliminate some of their top suspects, and Pofke didn't. So kind of fair in that sense, like you're saying. I think, yeah. And but we do have a chance for this is Pofke's obviously. I think out of the rest of the set, this is Pofke's single greatest chance to sweep a map is going to be Redwoods, and Pofke is going to know it. And I'm expecting aggressive play.
But we
Although
do have
first he's got to snipe Rav.
right, we have Terrace and Modern after that. Modern could be not bad, but we'll see that later if we get there. Yeah, so currently the score is 4-2, Rob winning. So we might not get to Modern. We'll see. But yeah, right now we're on Redwoods, which I mean, moving on, and 3, 2, 1, playing it. We'll see how
You're not a
Rob
fan
does.
of the Redwoods? Don't is I would
No.
isn't Lithuania like a very woodsy country? Don't you like all the
We,
woods?
we are a woodsy country, a foresty country, but I don't have to use sniper rifle and figure stuff out when in the woods.
I guess that's fair. That's fair.
I can look at the woods. I don't need to look what's in between the trees.
There we go. Yeah, you're not missing the forest for the trees when you're going out there. We are going to pick up a flirt over here. We're also taking. There's a lot of people that have been going to bar. Oh, unfortunately, Smallman's going to walk away without grabbing a drink. We were paying a lot of attention to see. I think if we could throw a frame somebody's way, but that's going to be unclear for now. Scattered highlights. It looks like there's a couple of Purloin highlights mixed in with statue highlights. We are going to timer flirt here, and if we hit this green. Ooh, we are gonna go for this bug. It does take. Oh, and Pofke, excellent work. Like I was actually gonna say, like this is a Rob bug. Like Rob loves bugging around this corner in every in every way, and also just like that bug's really hard to see. Really, really hard to see. There's only a fraction of a time as Ambassador comes around before they cover it up again. But Pofke is such a great bug guarder that we get all over it. And even though we are not a highlight, we see it and just willing to shoot for it. So excellent work.
Right, and you were talking how Rob likes Duke for good sort of bug snapbacks, but this is what gave him away here, it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Like and also Rob likes that corner. Um so like that corner in between there for bugs, just kind of like a safety spot. Like and I think it's also because Rob likes it for the perch on the view for a lot of different things, and his seduction target was there. So anyways, good catch by Pofke. And like the great thing for Pofke is Pofke didn't have to stress out through an entire Redwoods game. We got that catch early, and so hopefully feeling good as we're stepping into this.
That might be my new strategy going into Red was just shoot early for something. And then I don't have to play the rest of it.
That is true. If you want to minimize your time in Redwoods, just be like, hey,
Yeah.
that person finished in specs, or I don't like the look of that person. And this boom.
Yeah. I'm gonna consider it for sure. We'll see how it entails. What we're also gonna see is how Pofke is doing on the very same map as a spy and as a general instead. Here in 3, 2, 1, playing.
And of course, this is an interesting choice because um, the one of the main things that people think about in general is swap blocking. This is the only map you can't swap block on any single statue. There is no character swap blocking. All of the statues face out towards the sniper, so none of the pads are in a position where you block your own statue. You can, of course, have cover for the statue from other people. We are going to plant that bug, but it does not take that actually really bad. I don't think we're going to get killed for it, but that's actually one of the better opportunities we have. And that's one of General's other strengths is their walking bug is excellent. So I guess it's not so bad, but Pofke's going to really wish they had that bug.
Rob didn't seem to be following him to the bar, so I don't think we had that much suspicion for it.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna die for it at least, which is good because it would be a bummer for me. I love Redwoods. It'd be a bummer to just get Redwoods chopped up by just like two quick bug catches and then move on. I'd like to see how these players try to sweat it out.
Um, Nothing much happening here. Oh, we're going back to flirt and not sure to do what at the bar other than that.
Good on Pofke for, by the way, that was like, this is a really minor point. So we had to sip there in order to flirt convincingly, but we had to gulp. So we actually had to go over gulp, then flirt. We couldn't actually sip, then flirt, then sip because that would be a time, that would be a giveaway. Oh, you know what's funny is we didn't actually pick up a refreshed delegate because the delegate timer hadn't expired yet. So we actually don't have delegate here, even though we just picked up a fresh drink.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so I think that so obviously we're not going to go for Perline. We are going to gulp though. This is we're just gulping a lot in general. Heavy drinker.
He's just a thirsty boy.
Yeah, and okay, we really want to get the bug in that corner. Bofke really going for it, and hasn't gotten caught. To their credit, hasn't gotten caught any of these times. Banana Bird's
And
gonna come off.
red.
This is pretty good, except for the fact that it eliminates a couple of people at bookshelves at the same time. So Rocker and White, who might have actually finished in specs, are gonna both get knocked out. But other than that, pretty good Banana Bread.
And we have under a minute left, and we have two. Okay, sorry. Okay, we
Oh
bug
my god.
air finally.
We finally get that bug, and dude, I can't believe Pofke, by the way, showing a potential weakness in Rov's gameplay. Same location. We go for 3 bugs in that door space, and we don't apparently get caught for any of them. So I mean, take notes, opponents.
It does feel weird. Like this doesn't feel like Pofka Spy. Like it feels a bit too frantic, too
Yeah,
sort of less. I don't know, less thought out in a way.
yeah, and we're just
Okay.
gonna go for this all right at the end, and this was a total like Hail Mary, and that's really unfortunate. I completely agree with you, by the way, on that. Where because Pofke again, like you're saying, is has a lot of poise, and they're very concentrated, and they like to time things out really well. But
Yeah.
because we
It.
missed those bugs, we were crunched for time when we really
Right.
didn't want to be.
Right. I think the word sort of like it's very much deliberate and meticulous. Sort of.
Hmm.
You think about things and you do them because of very specific reasons at a specific time. And here it was just, oh, back to here, back to there, and doing that. So, and it just yeah, Rob probably just shot there because it's last several seconds, purloin shooting, someone reasonable.
No, I think that's actually a really good way to put it. Is like Pofke doesn't actually go back and forth between pads for no reason very often.
Yeah.
Like you said, very meticulous, very like trying. But we were doing that because we kept setting up for this bug. So it's actually like that that game to me felt like Pofke actually did have a better plan. He had a winning game plan, and if any of those bugs had taken, I feel like the last thing that we would have done wouldn't have been this like bug here, or sorry, this purloin right here at the end. We didn't seem to be catching any suspicion, and we probably could have like double inspected or something if we had more time. So, bummer for Pofke. I think they played well. They just didn't quite hit those bugs earlier on, and had to go for something desperate. So
Yeah.
hopefully it doesn't feel too bad. Hopefully Pofke notices that he got away with the bug like 3 times, but still comes away with the loss.
Well, Terrace is definitely not a great map to get away with bugs, especially 3.
True.
So we'll see what other missions they're doing. Here we're going into this map with a score of 5-3. So if Rov sweeps this, he's got himself a win, and we'll see how he does as Oprah in 3, 2, 1, playing.
Yeah, and so Terrace is honestly, even though I have at this point played a lot of Terrace, cast a lot of Terrace, this is one of the maps I feel like I have the least sense for, like as far as like options, because I just not the biggest fan of it. But it does end up having a lot of interesting games because there are just so many things you can do, so many just like thought out like I keep saying the word gambit, but it's really like ploys or like there's like certain playbook
Right.
kind of things. It's like it feels less creative and more like a lot of plays that you have to execute well. Um, so I'm curious how each of these approach this. So right now, for example, is we've started with inspect. I mean, we're not going to get this fingerprint just barely. And so we have these inspects, and that's going to put us down a pipeline of potentially going for inspects because we have it so early that it might be convincing to go back to the other set of statues.
That statue would still have would still have a print later on, though. Rather,
It's
it
true.
still does right now.
And actually, you bring up a good point because Ambassador just left a print at this other set of statues. So if we wanted to
Banana
go for a
bread.
silent game, um, uh, and are we going to go for this? No, we're actually not going to go for this. So we don't go for a silent game because obviously we contact there. I think we do we see double agent in the other? Yeah, we must have. Yeah, of course we did. So we have a known fake right here. Rejected this drink. We're gonna go for this statue. I think intentionally avoiding the fingerprint statue. I wonder if we're gonna go for a swap here. That would just be fun. I think it's a bad idea, but I just wonder. Yeah, we're not gonna go for that swap. So we have inspect done, and do we just contact, just like here, just to throw it out there? I feel like we might. I think like we're gonna wait for a little bit.
Banana
Salmon,
bread.
very interesting here though. Oh no! Oh, the ambassador left. Or
That
sorry, not
was
ambassador, double agent.
Oh goodness! I was about to say that wasn't really a good banana bread because like Salmon was a statues, Redhead and Smallman were statues. I didn't even notice it was bad because it didn't really happen. Oh
Yeah,
boy.
because I completely agree. Where I was like, this is an interesting timing because Salmon actually was finishing fingerprints at that statue. So Salmon had statues, was done with fingerprint, and keeping them in the pool felt like it was going to be really important. But we were just trying to finish, you know. And so now it's in this weird spot where like there's a ton of lowlights, and like Pofke is going to be wondering why there are so many banana breads because we're going to banana bread again
Banana
for
bread.
sure. Like here it is. Uh, I don't think Pofke is going to sniff this out, but we gave opportunities to do exactly that.
Yeah, we're not getting shot here.
All right,
Uh,
pretty. See, to me, that's a straightforward kind of win, even though we got to it in a pretty circuitous route, because we just inspected and flirted. Like we didn't do anything too crazy. I guess we had the banana bread bail out to bar and then back. So this was a mind game win, um, and the execution actually wasn't super tight, but the like Pofke just didn't think that Rov was going to finish in the way that he did, which was contact, two flirt, three sorry, inspect, and then three different attempts at contact. Strange game, and Rov kind of gets away with one here.
but I think what Rob like mentioned deliberately, going for the non-printable statue, especially fairly quickly after the print happened, was a kind of mind game that a behavioral one that I'm very deliberately not going for the printable statue where I could be both finishing statues and get a print. And I'm skipping a print from the drink and I'm skipping a print from the statue here, so maybe that's partially of why Rob's suspicions were lower, like suspicions on Rob were lower from Pofke as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Where it's like you would expect Rov's execution to be higher, so in a weird way that makes Red Dress seem less like a suspect and more like something is carrying it covered. Because like the other thing with like a lot of banana breads is with that many banana breads, usually it's trying to cover up something. So it's
Yeah.
usually like a purloin's going off, a bug is happening. It's like there's been too many banana breads. What are they trying to do with these banana breads? And instead, it was just like, oh, it was a miss on one. The first one was intentional. The second one was a miss, and then the third one was just the actual real one finishing the game.
Yeah, and with that, Rob is getting close to finishing the match as well, as we're now at 6-3. So he at least ties with 3 games left. And we'll see how this next one goes in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So I'm curious if so we have we're down a bunch of games now. And Terrace is a map where, well, I mean, I was gonna say you can just be aggressive, but it's like actually you have to be kind of calculated. It's not that long because sometimes players will just like they'll just do something super aggressive right away, just take their chances, and then just like peace out because they're demoralized. But actually, I think that they're not gonna. I don't think Pofke is gonna just be like obscenely aggressive.
I don't think either Pofke or Rob is a kind of player where you would be aggressive for. I mean, if you see a good opportunity to execute something, you would end up being aggressive, and they could totally do that. But only if it's a very good opportunity for something, which on Terrace is rarely the case, because chaos bugs, they're just not the same.
Yeah. And we're these flirts. So I think we're gonna stay around long enough to try to get the next super distant flirt, and then we'll have to come back for at least one more. We have to hit a green to make it even possible to three flirt. So we'll see here. We do not hit it, so we're gonna be four flirting for sure. Um, so unfortunate there, but actually something that is a potential thing for us is seduction target goes to bar. We're not following though, um, which to me is a little interesting. I guess we have to flirt two more times. If we'd hit that green, I would have expected Pofke to maybe try to go for it, like around now or something like that, so that the timer would time out and still have enough time to flirt. We are going to banana bread. It is a fake. Only Tex is out. Well, actually,
Banana
Tex might even
bread.
get in.
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we started it and Tex actually so it's a full everybody in banana bread, no real good information given.
I think it probably was a bit too early for, like, if you think about it properly, probably was too early for text to be it, because I don't know if he had started talking at that point yet. So I mean, maybe it had to be a green. But I'm just overthinking things because I need to talk about something. Um, yeah, 40. We have 41% of flirt, and we're 41 seconds on the clock. Yes, I stalled for that. And but that's it. We don't have anything else. We can't quickly finish flirt and then go banana bread or even like crash bug to finish. We need a plan.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess we're going to banana bread. I don't think we have time for delegate even now because I say it seemed like we were gonna like banana bread delegate. So we are gonna delegate here to at least make this send happen. I don't know if it's even gonna take in time. I think this is just gonna be a timeout. I don't think we actually have an ability to finish here. I think we're watching this very closely to see if it takes in time. It does get taken, so well, still it's just gonna be a timeout. It's just gonna be a
But
timeout.
no.
Yeah, that's I get it, but I think that Pofke just ran out of gas there. Like, we had the ability to try to force something. The thing is, like, as is well known by anybody, if you delegate a purloin and it doesn't, or just finish a mission, you're trying to frame someone, and it's less than 10 seconds, they're gonna wait for overtime, and if you timed
Yeah.
out, you're just gonna lose.
And even with the purloin, we still needed another mission. Oh, right, you're talking about if we're supposedly framing. Yep. No,
Yeah.
it just wasn't happening, and unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, I always empathize with the spy somehow by default. Um, so unfortunately, here we do lose this one as a spy for Pofke, and Rob does win the whole match. So yay for that. We're at 7-3, I believe, and Rob does move on to round of 8.
Indeed, and still definitely a tough opponent. Pofke looked on top of their game for the first two maps, but then after losing, after giving a lead over to Rav, just kind of run out of gas, taking the shots and showing a little bit of rust. So that's too bad. I do hope that Pofke jumps into the Megalodon Motel because I'd love to see more of their play. They are just an excellent player. So very happy to see them in the mix again. And yes, congratulations to Rav. And yeah, I think that's it for moving on to Lev T versus Soapy Rights.
Yeah, just to quickly comment, what was it? Right, so Rob will be facing off the winner of Grosh and Estatine Effect, which I'm not sure when is happening. Do we have that schedule? I don't think yet. Doesn't look like we have that scheduled yet. So we'll be having that sometime later this week or next week, I suppose. So no, wait, this I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I've lost my train of thought.